Am I the biggest Five Nights at Freddy's fan in the world? Nope. But, did I see the first film? Yes. Did I like it? No. But, I could understand why others did. So, I just saw the second film. Did I like it? Nope. But this time, I can't understand why others seem to like it.
Nobody expected Five Nights at Freddy's 2 to fall apart this fast. The sequel launched with massive hype. Yet within hours, the reaction flipped into shock. Fans walked out confused and angry as timelines filled with disbelief. A movie meant to lift the franchise instead dragged it into the ground. Critics slammed the pacing and empty storytelling, while longtime fans said the world felt nothing like the one they knew. What should have been a celebration turned into backlash as memes, rants, and breakdowns flooded every platform. Even the loyal players who waited years didn't see this coming. And at the center stood one name: Scott Cawthon, the creator who built the universe and watched it unravel in silence. People questioned how a story known for deep lore could collapse in one night, and why Scott said nothing as chaos spread. That silence ignited suspicion. Fans pushed for answers, and they wanted them from Scott. Because if the sequel crashed this hard, something behind the scenes had to be far worse. And what surfaced next would change the entire fandom.
And unfortunately, I simply don't think that that's the movie that they delivered. It just kind of felt like an empty film. That there just wasn't much there at all on any level.
Fans arrived expecting a major win. The first movie built trust, and the sequel was supposed to push the lore deeper, yet excitement in theaters slowly shifted into confusion. Viewers realized the story wasn't matching the world they knew. What began as anticipation ended in a quiet, uneasy mood. When the credits rolled, the reaction was immediate. People walked out trying to understand a plot that felt scattered and empty. Scenes drifted without purpose, and the emotional core was gone.
But yeah, look at this. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is overall terrible. I mean, it's just nonstop of like these critics saying this movie stinks. Like, it is the worst thing. Why did I waste my time? It goes on and on.
Early posts spread fast and all carried the same message. Something had gone wrong. Expectations made the collapse even sharper. Fans waited years for a story that honored the universe, but the sequel delivered the opposite. Instead of building mystery, it stripped it away. What should have expanded the world ended up shrinking it. As reactions poured in, the tone hardened. Fans felt blindsided, not just disappointed. They expected a powerful continuation, but watched the franchise stumble overnight. And this was only the first wave of backlash. The build-up for the sequel was massive. Fans paused every frame of the trailer searching for clues that hinted at deeper lore and hidden twists. Each new post created another wave of theories as people tried to map the timeline and guess which animatronics would return. The excitement grew fast, and the community treated every detail like a secret message. Reddit threads filled with predictions and long breakdowns. Viewers believed this would be the movie that tied loose ends and revealed answers the games had teased for years. The director hinted at a darker tone, which added more fuel to the excitement. People felt certain the sequel would elevate the story. Producers promised a faithful continuation, which made expectations explode. Fans trusted that the film would stay true to the emotional weight behind the original world. The community saw this as the moment the franchise would finally break into something bigger. That belief hid early warning signs no one wanted to see. With the hype at its highest point, the stage was set. People expected a breakthrough, and no one imagined the story would fall apart. They went in ready for secrets and connections. Instead, they were about to see the first cracks surface. Before release, small leaks hinted at tension between Scott and the studio. Scott pushed for deeper emotional storytelling, while the studio wanted something faster to please casual audiences. These hints were brushed aside because fans didn't want doubt to interrupt the excitement. They believed the team would deliver. Reports suggested disagreements over key scenes and changes to core lore. Scott wanted the meaning behind the world to stay intact, but the studio aimed for bigger moments instead of subtle build-ups. Even with these signs, the community stayed focused on the hype. They trusted the original creator's vision would guide the film. People close to the project later revealed that major rewrites happened late in production. Pacing was altered, mystery toned down, and emotional weight reduced. These choices signaled trouble, yet stayed hidden from the public. No one imagined these changes would derail the entire experience. As premiere night approached, the excitement drowned out every concern. Fans lined up ready for the next chapter, believing nothing could ruin the story. They didn't know the cracks behind the scenes were already wide open, waiting to spill out. The movie started strong with tension and solid atmosphere. For a moment, fans felt relieved believing the sequel was on the right path. Then the tone shifted and the story weakened fast. Scenes felt disconnected and major lore pieces were either changed or ignored. Viewers realized something was off but hoped it would fix itself later. Instead, the plot drifted without clear direction, and characters acted in ways that didn't match the original universe. What should have built suspense left audiences waiting for a payoff that never arrived. Confusion replaced excitement. By the time the credits rolled, the disappointment was intense. People left theaters stunned, wondering how a story with so much potential fell apart. The emotional impact that defined the franchise was missing, and fans felt a heavy sense of loss. Early reactions hit social media instantly. Posts spread within minutes, pointing out mistakes and rewriting efforts in real time. Fans shared their confusion and frustration, pushing the backlash forward. The premiere was supposed to be a celebration. Instead, it became the first signal that the franchise was heading into a full meltdown. The morning after the premiere, the numbers collapsed. Rotten Tomatoes dropped fast, while Metacritic sank even lower as reviewers called the sequel hollow and unfocused. YouTube filled with breakdowns showing unfinished ideas and missing emotion. The reaction was sharp and immediate. Memes and edits flooded feeds. Fans posted side-by-side comparisons between the film and the game lore, pointing out every inconsistency they found. People who supported the franchise from day one felt the movie abandoned everything that made the story powerful. Frustration rose with every new post. What made it worse was how united the backlash became. Longtime fans, theory channels, and newcomers all agreed the sequel missed the heart of the universe. Viewers didn't just dislike the movie, they believed it disrespected the story they grew up with. The disappointment turned personal. With the meltdown spreading, one question took over the conversation. Did Scott approve this? People wanted answers, and the silence surrounding his role only fueled the fire. The backlash had moved from reviews to a full revolt. As fans raged, Scott stayed silent. No posts, no interviews, no comments. That silence became louder than any statement as confusion spread across the community. People wondered if he was hurt, distant, or simply ignored by the studio. The silence shaped the narrative without him saying a word. The studio stepped in with a subtle hint implying Scott approved the direction. Fans rejected it immediately because the tone of the movie felt nothing like his work. Suspicion grew fast, and every new comment added pressure. Viewers felt something deeper was hidden behind the scenes. Then Scott finally broke silence in the most cryptic way possible. His personal site went dark except for one chilling line. "You can change the story, but you can't erase the truth." Fans treated it like a warning aimed at the team behind the movie. That single message changed everything. Reactions exploded again. People took it as proof that Scott disagreed with the film and didn't support major changes. The silence had turned into a spark. Now the community wanted the full truth, and the next leak would give them exactly that. 2 days later, major leaks surfaced. Reports claimed Scott fought the studio during production and begged them to fix scenes that clashed with the original story. Sources said his notes were ignored as the team pushed for a faster, louder film. Fans treated the leak like confirmation of what they had feared. One quote from the leak spread everywhere. Scott walked out of a meeting saying, "This isn't FNAF anymore." That line became the center of the entire backlash. It captured how betrayed fans felt and how far the film drifted from its emotional core. The internet grabbed it and refused to let it go. The leak described creative battles over tone structure and meaning. Scott wanted the human side of the tragedy, while the studio wanted a flashy blockbuster. He pushed to protect the emotional weight behind the world, yet his ideas were sidelined. Fans saw this as proof the sequel lost its soul before it even released. With the truth out, the tone shifted again. The community no longer blamed Scott. They defended him. The backlash transformed into a movement aiming to restore the original vision. What began as disappointment had become a war over creative control. The leak pushed the backlash into something much bigger. Fans across every platform rallied behind Scott as hashtags like #JusticeForCaught and #NotMyFNAF2 spread worldwide. The movement grew fast and gained strength with every new post. People weren't reacting anymore. They were uniting. Fan art and edits filled timelines showing Scott reclaiming his creation. Theory channels explained how the film drifted from the original meaning, while comments overflowed with memories tied to the franchise. The tone shifted from anger to protection. People wanted the heart of the story restored. old collaborators spoke out too. They praised Scott's vision and reminded fans that FNAF always carried emotion beneath the fear. Their support confirmed what many already believed. The issue wasn't Scott, it was the studio's decisions. As pressure increased, the narrative changed. This wasn't about a failed sequel now. It was about a creator defending his world. Fans demanded Scott take the franchise back. The movement had become unstoppable. The studio released a statement hoping to calm the backlash. It felt polished, distant, and empty. They praised the team and mentioned Scott's legacy, yet said nothing meaningful. Fans rejected it instantly. It looked like an attempt to dodge blame. Comments overwhelmed the post repeating Scott's earlier message. "You can change the story, but you can't erase the truth." That line overshadowed everything the studio tried to push. Their control over the narrative collapsed in minutes. Then Scott returned with one sentence. "Sometimes you can't recognize your own creation anymore." The impact was immediate. News outlets reported chaos inside the studio as executives scrambled for solutions. Fans took the post as confirmation he disagreed with the movie's direction. Momentum grew. Supporters demanded Scott regain full control. Others believed he was already planning a comeback. All attention shifted toward him because the community trusted his vision more than any studio choice. The sequel's collapse turned into a much larger moment. It exposed the struggle between creativity and corporate control. Scott's quiet responses hit harder than any official statement because people felt the meaning behind his work. Fans saw him as the true soul of the franchise. The backlash revived the original spirit of FNAF. The movie ignored the emotional core Scott built, yet the community brought it back with more force than ever. Instead of fading, the franchise found new life through the people who loved it most. Fan projects surged. Tribute games, animations, and theories flooded timelines, capturing the tone the sequel lost. The community refused to let the movie define the future. They restored the heart of the story themselves. In the end, this wasn't just failure. It became a turning point that showed passion can't be replaced by spectacle, a reminder that the creator's truth will always outlast the noise. They changed the story, but they couldn't erase the core behind it.